It's Saturday morning cartoons. Well, maybe not cartoons, but we will have some illustrations. I will be the only thing that's truly animated. Oh, the world has gone crazy. And I hope you're safe and ready to amuse yourself with some esoteric thoughts. But while you're diverting yourself, please send as much energy, prayers, if you pray, to the troubles in Ukraine. It's truly very disturbing. But anyway, I'm continuing my discussion that I've started last week uh, concerning the Pantacle and how my tarot deck is an expansion, uh, literally extended commentary on my Pantacle. And so I'm going to continue reading a little excerpt from my book, Homemade Magic. And I've got a few things, because it's Saturday morning cartoons, I got a few things to help illustrate. Audio visuals. I spared no expense. This is from chapter 13, Homemade Tarot Cards. And I titled today's talk, I don't know if the title shows up here, uh, to create a tarot deck from scratch, you must first create the universe, which is a paraphrase of Carl Sagan's famous thing, to make an apple pie from scratch, you have to first create the universe. Well, it really holds true when we're talking about creating something as perfect as the tarot or the I Ching or any other piece of perfection. The epigram is from our little white booklet from Tarot of Ceremonial Magic by Constance and Lon DuQuette. One could say that the tarot is the DNA of Kabbalah. Properly decoded, it reveals not only the secrets of the Kabbalah, but also the mysteries of all other Kabbalah-based systems. By learning tarot properly, you simultaneously master the fundamentals of Kabbalah, astrology, and ceremonial magic. That's the end of that quote. In chapter 13, I discuss how whenever I'm away from home, I can construct a homemade magical temple and circle using tarot cards. The cards that I carry with me, indeed the cards that I use exclusively for personal and professional readings, are my own homemade ones from Tarot of Ceremonial Magic. I designed and penned the line drawings for each of the 78 cards, and it's sort of, the line drawings sort of look like this. These are actual, I should have thrown these away years ago, but there's my drawing of the Fool and my drawing of the Devil, and here's what Constance did to those. I did the line drawings. She did the painting. Okay, let me just clear the decks here. Clear the decks. Okay. So Constance painted them in watercolors. Together, we wrote the little white booklet that accompanies the deck. It was literally a family project. First of all, I did not set out to create a tarot deck. Believe me, I'm not exaggerating. I am lazy. I'm a lazy person. I would no more have dreamed to voluntarily make a tarot deck than anything. It'd be the furthest thing from my mind. Just like that Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot book that I wrote. I would have never intended and thought about setting out to do the work to write that book. I had to be drafted into writing the book, and I reluctantly agreed to do so. But truly, I did not set out to make this tarot deck, and I did not set out, pretty much, I did not set out to do anything. Does that make me a reactionary? I guess it does in that respect. But anyway, I digress. First of all, I did not set out to create a tarot deck. I simply wanted to make a handmade set of flashcards for Monday Night Magic class. I accidentally, and this is true, I accidentally found myself a job as the office manager of a stockbroker in San Juan Capistrano. How I secured that position is a story in itself. My boss was a wonderful and brilliant and successful man whose clients were wealthy Orange County physicians. He was usually out of the office, and most days I only saw him in the morning and late afternoon. And he was always flying off in the Concorde to spend an afternoon, literally, flying to New York and then taking the Concorde to Paris, just to spend 6 hours in Paris and then the Concorde back. It was, and here I was trying to figure out how to buy groceries. Okay. He was usually out of the office most of the time, and I only saw him in the morning and late afternoon. I had plenty of typing, filing, and marketing duties to complete, but I also had quite a lot of time each day to study, write, or get ready for class. At the time, we were studying the magical tables and correspondences of Crowley's Liber 777, and that's tables that look sort of like that, okay? And I was preparing to discuss some particular sets of tables that demonstrate how certain traditional Kabbalistic angels and demons are assigned to the 36 decans of the zodiac in the same way that the 36 small cards of the tarot are assigned to those same decans. Okay. And in order to do that, I created something that looked like this. At the time, it wasn't as, let's see here. There we go. There's the 72 angels of the Shemhamverish, Kabbalistic angels of the Shemhamverish, and there, down at the bottom here, are the day and night demons of the Goetia. Okay, and here's how they're assigned in decans to the small cards of the tarot. And there's angels of the Shemhamverish in their English phonetic equivalent. And there's the 3-letter names of God that they're rooted from, and there's the assignment of the verses of Exodus that they're all drawn from. So we were discussing stuff like that. Okay. Now, it doesn't look that cool when it's just a page of correspondences. But you know, in order for me to wrap my meat brain around this stuff, I got to sort of put it out in front of me and look at it like that. So I threw together this thing. So, okay. Now I'm going to take this away here and go on with my talk. Hang on. Oh, there, we're now more intimate. Okay. I thought it'd be nice if each member could have 36 blank note cards so that we as a class could transfer the information from the tables to the cards. And there was a stationery store right under my stock brokerage office that I could just go down and I could buy everybody their own set of note cards, blank note cards. We started by labeling the 36 cards by degrees or decans of the zodiac. 0 to 10 degrees Aries. Okay, let's see if I could sort of see what I could do here. So it'd be like this. Here's what the cards were about this size. And we just took one card and somewhere on the card we put the 0, and I got 1 to 10 degrees. And I had to draw in Aries there. And there's the approximate days of the year. Now that turns out to be what happens for the 2 of Wands. This other stuff comes later. But we just started out by putting the dates and the degrees like that. And okay. Zero to 10 degrees, 10 to 20 degrees, 20 to 30 degrees. Okay, so well, would have the other 2 that would look like that. No, it was no big thing, okay, but it was something that we could lay out in front of ourselves. We then added approximate 10 days of the year that those decans represent. Now in the project, we used red ink for the cards of the fire signs of the zodiac, blue for the water signs, yellow for the air signs, and green for the earth signs. That was just something easy we could do. And your eye immediately picks up that the 1, 2s, and 3s or that the decans belong to a elementally ruled thing just by looking. If they're red, it's Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo. Your brain just puts that together. We then added, let's see, okay. After the first class, each member had a nice, neat stack of cards representing the entire astrological year. It didn't take long, just all 36. And as we did it, our brains said, oh, I get it. I get what's going on. Okay. The following week, we added more information from the table of correspondence, specifically the Kabbalistic angels of the Shemhamferish. That's their name there in black over the top of the circle, like Vihiel, Daniel, okay. And we got all of those names off of the classic thing there. Okay. No big thing. And the Goetic demons assigned to the decans of the zodiac. Well, let's see. For the two of... There they are. That decan right there has a day spirit of the Goetia and a night spirit of the Goetia assigned to it, those 10 degrees. Now, it's not that you can only call up those spirits during those days of the year, or even the daytime and the nighttime. You can call them up at absolutely any time you need to call them up, but they are assigned to those specific periods, and there might be, come an opportunity or a need for you to actually focus your attention magically upon that 10-degree period. And there is already vibrating at that particular harmonic these specific spirits. Actually, the best time to perform a Goetic evocation is when you have the freaking time to perform a Goetic evocation. Okay. We carefully place the names of these angels and the names of the seals of the demons on the appropriate cards. So that Two of Wands ended up looking like that. It wasn't a Two of Wands yet. It was just that decan. Okay. Next week, we added the planetary assignments to each of our 36 cards. The planets. So there's a... Obviously, this is Aries, but there's a planet assigned to that 10 degrees right there. It's Mars. And the method to that madness, well, maybe DuQuette will explain. Next week, we added the planetary assignments to each of our 36 decans, plus their tarot suit and number. Finally, we give them a tarot suit, wands, and a number, 2. Okay. Okay. Beginning at 0 degrees Leo. Not Aries, but 0 degrees Leo, because that's the traditional place to start your planetary assignments. Beginning at 0 degrees Leo and working our way around the wheel of the year, we are assigned planets to the decans in a repeating order of Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Moon. Okay, it's just coming right down the tree of life. From Saturn at number 3, Jupiter number 4, Mars number 5, Sun number 6, Venus number 7, Mercury number 8, and Luna number 9, and then that whole thing repeats over and over again in our assignments. Mars was repeated at the last wintertime decan of Pisces and the first springtime decan of Aries. That way everything will come out in the wash. And that double assignment of Mars at the weakest part of the solar year sort of acts as a spark plug when the wheel of the year hits the final thing, in order for it to jump start the year again. We have a double dose of Mars there at 0 degree, or last degrees of Pisces, first degrees of Aries. The Note Card Project provided our class members with a wonderful introduction to the fundamentals of astrology, but we needed to move on to other subjects. However, I was hooked. I knew that if I proceeded, I'd be making a unique and magical tarot deck. I bought a case of 4 by 6 inch ruled white index cards and used my spare time at work, because I'll do anything to avoid honest work. I used my spare time at work experimenting with formatting images of the cards. This was in the late 1980s, before the availability of more advanced computer imaging. So I had to do everything with plastic transparencies, a copy machine, and a word processor. And you can see even the letters there. I had to print out on one of those label makers, those funky label makers. You can't believe how funky this project was. There's my first draft of the Fool, okay? I had to hand draw even those sections. Okay. Okay, where was I? Oh, I was bragging. Okay. Let's see. I eventually included appropriate images and information from Enochian magic and the I Ching, where those systems corresponded to the tarot. The I Ching, 16 I Ching hexagrams are assigned to the 16 court cards. Okay. And Enochian magic, oh God, I'm not going to get into that today. But the 36 squares in the Great Cross of every elemental tablet are these same decans. They're just assigned in a little bit different order depending upon the elemental rulership of each of the elemental tablets. And they are shifted around in threes by cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Cardinal on the left column of the Great Cross, fixed on the horizontal line of the Great Cross, and mutable on the right vertical line of the Great Cross. But you knew that. Okay. The preliminary work took 2 years to complete. The original art consisted of my 78 uncolored line drawings printed one at a time on a standard office copy machine on ordinary white index cards. I had to feed them manually. In order to be Kabbalistically correct, each trump and cards of each suit had to conform with a strict color scale. Each zodiac sign, each planet, each elemental suit, and each number of each suit vibrates at a specific frequency on a color spectrum. All of these factors needed to be considered when selecting and blending the colors of any given card. I was frankly burned out on the project and did not feel up to that task. Constance, on the other hand, is a fantastic artist. Throughout our years of marriage, she's amused us all with her ink drawings, pencil sketches, and crayon and watercolor paintings. Her eye for color is precise and tasteful. She hates these great gray walls in this house. It's driving her crazy. But I digress. She did not, however, jump up to volunteer to help with this project. Then I got an early evening call from my dear friend and former boss, Rick Potter, who has since passed away. He was planning to drive to Miami to attend the American Booksellers Association trade show. It's now called Book Expo America. And asked if I would go along for the ride. This is from Newport Beach, California to Miami. He just bought a new Mercedes and he wanted to drive to Miami. And asked if I'd like to go along for the ride. He was leaving in 10 days. 10 days. It would be the perfect opportunity for me to pitch my tarot deck and my tarot deck. But an uncolored tarot deck would not be very impressive, no matter how correct it was. Later that night, after dinner conversation went something like this. This is me and Constance talking. Oh, by the way, Rick called today and said he's driving his new Mercedes to Miami to attend the Booksellers Convention. He wants to know if I'd like to ride along. Maybe spend a couple days in New Orleans on the way. He says we'd only be gone for 20 days or so. My publisher would really like it if I could spend a little time at their booth. I guess I had two publishers then. My publishers, okay. Constance, while not overly enthusiastic about the adventure, was nonetheless generally supportive of the whole idea. I added, you know, while I'm there, I could pitch my tarot cards to U.S. game systems and maybe get Wiser to publish my new book about the cards. And she looked at me funny. What book? The one I'll write if I publish the cards. And of course that would eventually turn out to be that. Okay. I had to trick myself into writing that. Okay. But you haven't colored the cards yet, she asked me. The next part took real finesse. I thought I'd give you a couple color scale charts and let you take a crack at coloring the cards. Should be a piece of cake for you. All 78 cards? That's right. How long do I have? 10 days. Well, maybe 9. That'd be about 9 cards a day. Yeah, if you did a couple tonight, it would be more like 8 a day. The clocks stopped ticking. The crickets stopped chirping. The dog started panting. We didn't have a dog. I stopped breathing. Okay, show me those charts. Bless her heart, she did it. Right on time. Rick and I drove from Newport Beach, California to Miami, and I successfully pitched and inked the card deal with U.S. Game System and the book deal with Wiser. The moment I arrived back home, Constance and I set to work on writing the little book that accompanies the cards, including her wise and patently unlawn-like insights on the divinatory meanings of each of the cards of our homemade tarot deck. Our tarot cards are much like our marriage. Beautiful in some areas and not so beautiful in others, homemade and magically correct. And these 3 pages here are the color tables. There's 4 scales of color, for the four Kabbalistic worlds, four parts of the soul, things like that. Anyway, once again, I have imposed upon you for a very lengthy Saturday morning, and we all want to go out and play. So sorry I've kept you so long. Have a cup of hot Ovaltine, put on your earmuffs, and go out and play in the snow. And until tomorrow for Sunday school, when we dress up, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.